Hello guys and gals, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and I have a new video to share with you today. It's featuring some stenciling using pigment inks and distress oxide sprays. So I'm showing you the products that I'm using. I just have some craft cardstock. I have the Luxurious Leaves stencil. This is part of the new September release at A Colorful Life Designs. I have some pigment, Hero Hues, Unicorn White, pigment ink, and distress oxide sprays. Now, I actually just bought these oxide sprays. This is my first time using them in real life. I like the way they look, but if I'm honest, I struggle a little bit with the messiness factor. Now, not necessarily making a mess, because if you've seen my craft room, clearly I have no issue with that, but just that it's not always consistent or even. So my way of offsetting this is by using pigment ink. So you can see I used the stencil to do a nice even coating of that pigment ink and to really lay down the detail of the design. Now I wiped it off and I'm actually putting it back on just slightly offset. Now I think in my mind, having that base layer of pigment that clearly defines the design helps offset the messiness factor. Now I love it when other people do it. I think it looks fantastic. There's just something about me being able to use the spray and not having it even that kind of grates on me a little bit. So I think this is my solution, but I'm pleased with how it turned out. These were really fun. I'm very glad I used my spray box because this spray goes everywhere. Yeah, it's messy. I had it all over my hands. It's definitely good to work on a panel rather than directly on the card base because you're probably going to get extra spray all around while you're waiting for it to dry. So as you can see, I have all that extra ink on the stencil that I didn't want to go to waste. So I'm just gonna put that right down. I had a piece of like light gray, lightweight cardstock on my desk, and I just put that right down on, use the brayer again, just to kind of press that right in. I considered spraying it with water. That's what I showed you a minute ago, but it honestly didn't need it because it's so wet already. And then you get a nice monoprint as well. So it does have that messy distress look, but it's still such even coverage that you get two panels for the price of one. So I have the one panel on the craft with the pigment ink detail and then the monoprint. So I use these fun detail edge dies to cut them out. They kind of match, but obviously one's an oval. Give me nice little panels to work with. And I'm working on 110-pound white cardstock for the card bases. I had those pre-made and ready to go. And then I decided I just want to add a die cut sentiment just to keep it simple and let it really showcase that fun stencil design on the background. So this is my sentiment book. I have them held with baseball card folder or baseball card protector sheets. And I'm just kind of flipping through there, looking at some options. None of these really kind of stand out enough, so just kind of flip through what I have here, and then I end up deciding what I want to use and putting the book away here. I decided the oval needed a little something else, so I cut out some black cardstock with the kind of matching edge rectangle dies and put that down. You can see there's some schmutz all over it. Again, this is because it wasn't fully dry. I did do my heat tool off camera just to kind of dry it up a little bit because, you know, I'm impatient, but I still managed to get ink all over the place. So that's what you see all over that black panel, but thankfully the oval die cut did kind of cover it up. And this isn't particularly thick cardstock that I used here, so I didn't really do any dimension. I just kind of glued it right down directly onto the card base. And then use some liquid glue to attach this hello sentiment. And that almost finishes that card. Kind of doing the same thing here. I decided to go horizontal with this design just because that thankful die is kind of long. So just using some adhesive to put that down. Again, not using dimension. These will be nice and mailable. Kind of testing what's still wet because I'm still getting Distress Oxide ink all over the place from somewhere, and I'm not sure at this point. So, and again, use liquid glue just to kind of glue this down. I did use my tweezers. This isn't a very thick glitter paper that I have here. It's kind of flopping all about, so I thought the tweezers would help me hold that. And I did kind of pounce off some of that excess glue on a scrap piece of paper. That just kind of helps me from getting too much extra glue all over my card front. And then I bust out some blingage. I always use odd numbers, 3, 5, 7. It's just more visually appealing from a design perspective. So I've got some little gold sequins that match that glitter paper really well. So I'm going to liquid glue those down. Then I have those pretty crystals on the other side. So I'm just going to kind of attach that, and that's going to finish my cards. So yeah, I got me some Distress Oxide sprays. I gave it a go. I enjoyed them. I think definitely use a box so you don't spray your entire work surface with them, and give them adequate amount of time to dry, and you can get some really fun effects. And I seriously made these super quick. So if you want something to do with your stencils that isn't ink blending, or maybe a more traditional way, then give this option a try, either with your Distress Oxides or if you have any other similar type of sprays. It's a fun way to kind of lay down that design on your card. And if you're like me and want a little bit more of a concise outcome, then maybe try the pigment layer down as well. So I hope you liked my technique here today. 2 cards for 1. If you did, please hit the thumbs up on my video and consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate all your comments and checking out my vids and all your support. It really does make my whole day, and I read every single comment. So thanks again. Have an awesome day. Bye.